This.
Well, we're live now. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Unfortunately, Danny won't be here this week. He's moving, but I know he's watching. I'm the Iceberg. This is my channel, obviously. Glad to have you here. I'm going to pass it off to my other hosts. Start with Eric.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be back. I had to take a brief hiatus last week, but this week I traded places with Danny, so now he is in the basement, quiet, and we won't be hearing from him. But you have me in his place. And I'm excited because today is basically the throwback stream, getting ready for the throwback race. And this is always a big weekend for NASCAR. The last few years they've been doing this. So I'm excited. We got a lot of rumors and stuff to talk about that we were just briefly talking about before we went on the air. So I know you guys are in for a good show. But yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Darren Gilliam, aka Black Flags Matter. Yeah, excited for Throwback Week. Got my my petty shirt right here with all 4 generations on it, and like if I turn around really quick, you can also see all 4 in the back right there as well. So been looking forward to wearing the shirt on the podcast and get to. It's really excited. I've certainly had better weeks in my life and stuff too. Certainly had a very up and down day on Monday as well, but. Yeah, I'm just happy to be here on the podcast this week. And also go check out my new upload, which I uploaded yesterday, Ryan Newman Good Seasons 2003. Now, I made a little mistake in the thumbnail at first. I said Bad Seasons Ryan Newman 2003, which I saw as soon as I uploaded it. And then I had to, basically just fix that. So, yeah. And I'll pass it off to Rusty.
Hey, what's up, guys? What's up, chat? After a couple months, I'm back. I got the Darrell Waltrip throwback on today for the Throwback Podcast, and I'm just excited to be here, excited to talk with you guys and talk with chat. So yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem, man. I say first we should probably go in. Who watched the Xfinity and truck races over the weekend?
Just truck.
I saw some of the Xfinity race. I was moving during the truck race, so
some of the Xfinity and some trucks. Well, and then mostly trucks though, but some Xfinity.
I saw the finish of the truck race. I was too busy watching the fight, but that was pretty fun. It was it Mid Ohio they went to for trucks, and then Road America for Xfinity, right?
Yes.
I got Canadian.
Canadian Tire.
Canadian Tire.
They all mix it up. They all look alike to me. Anyway, the truck race looked pretty good. The finish at least, and I'm pretty sure that we all got some opinions on that. So yeah, who's to blame here?
Well, let me first off start by saying, and the chat's probably going to crucify me for this, Gregson did nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong. He was going for the win. There was a what? Now, it's different if there's no gap there and he just freaking dumps him intentionally and stuff for the win and stuff, okay? Now, that's messed up, but there was a gap right there for a split second. And, like, what is he supposed to do? Not take it? I mean, now we're in the Truck Series playoffs. Like, you got to go for these wins, man. I mean, think about it. If he gets the win, he's locked into the next round. And also, huge shout out to Justin Haley for actually winning. And this time, Fox Sports let him do a full interview, unlike his first win.
And NASCAR didn't take it away.
Yeah, NASCAR didn't take it away this time. But yeah, I mean, I don't get what the big deal is. I don't think he did anything wrong trying to go for the win.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he did anything wrong. I think if you're leading that race, Gilliland, it was Todd Gilliland, right?
Yes.
Yeah. If you're him, you got to understand who's behind you. I know he's a teammate, so maybe you expect him to race you cleanly, but you got to know it's Noah Gregson. He's kind of been an up and down. He's kind of a chaotic personality. It's like if you have it's like a young Tony Stewart behind you in a way. And if you have a young Tony Stewart behind you, you don't give him any room. You completely protect the bottom and force him to straight up wreck you. Now, the reason everyone thinks it looks bad and people are mad at Noah Gregson is because the end result was 2 Kyle Busch Motorsport trucks wrecked and a non-Kyle Busch Motorsports truck won the race. If Gregson just knocks him out of the way but goes on to win the race, you got the whole bump and run debate, the spin and win debate, which we've seen at this track in the past. But I think the reason people are upset with him is because he didn't even benefit from it. At the end of the day, they both got screwed as a result of this incident. So in that case, I don't think I would have made the same move Noah Gregson would have made, because at the end of the day, you finished second in points or second in the race in the first round of the playoffs. I think you're okay. That's a good point stay. I think you're in a decent spot. I get that wins matter a lot. If I was in his position, I don't think I would have dove in there the way he did, but I can completely see why he did, and I don't think it's fair to overly criticize him for it.
Yeah, I completely agree with both you guys. And I think if he wanted to, or if his intention was to completely wreck him or dump him, he would have done the Denny Hamlin and just drove through him. But he kind of put his nose underneath on the inside. So I think the intent was to kind of use him up, use 8 tires instead of 4 and go on and win, but obviously didn't work out. The thing I got excited about was that he actually chased down the 4 truck. And I don't think he got enough credit for actually wheeling it and getting to him on that last set of corners. So I thought that was really cool to see him actually get to that point to do the move. So.
Yep, I from the replay and everything that I saw about it, I mean, he's aggressive, yeah, but I don't think it's like dirty driving or anything. I saw these people. I've noticed that over the last 2 months that Noah Gregson sort of become like one of the more least popular drivers, or one of the more like you either love him or hate him kind of drivers. And I think that a lot of people are just sort of blindly hating on him at this point. He went for the win and it didn't work out. There's plenty of drivers. I mean, you can look all through history at different drivers who went for the win. It didn't work. Ricky Rudd, Dale Earnhardt, Darrell Waltrip, if it's okay when they do it, why is it not when Noah Gregson does it? That's all I really got to say.
I'm glad you brought that up and stuff. I mean, the sport, like the fans ask for personalities. Oh, everyone's boring and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But then we have personalities like Kyle Busch, which is understandable why you don't like him, because he markets himself as this villain and stuff, as this douchebag. So it's understandable why you don't like him. But Noah Gregson, I mean, what has he really done? I mean, he said some funny quotes. He says what's on his mind. I mean, on Twitter, he's hilarious. Like a couple of weeks ago, some fans got mad at him. I remember this one female fan got mad at him because he took a video at Michigan of that one skinny jackman guy who was trying to jack the car up. Yeah. And I was like, well, what's the problem? It was just funny. I mean, it's not like he was like intentionally making fun of him or anything like that. Like I just thought it was funny and stuff. But I also think that this is another big part and why people don't like him. Kamikaze Games, if you watch his videos, he does not like Noah Gregson at all. So Kamikaze kind of has something to do with that a little bit. And some people pointed that out to me on Twitter. When I talked about the rumors concerning Noah Gregson today, which we will get into, but yeah, I could, I don't see why. I mean, he's just a funny guy to me, and also he's a local too. So
he's just being a kid. He's just a kid too.
Yeah, and it's like I hate when it's like a lot of people keep saying also that it's like, oh, he treats women horribly. It's like, well, most of the girls that he's joking around with are in on the joke.
Yeah,
it's like he's not really doing anything that bad. Like seriously, I mean everyone he for the most part he jokes around with is in on it for the most part, or if not, are friends with him.
Yeah, I mean, it's just having fun. I mean, it's just having fun, saying what you want or anything like that. I mean, think about it. The dude, like, I don't know how old he is or anything. He's like, I'm assuming he's close to our age.
Yeah, probably. He's like our age. I think.
Yeah, I mean, he reminds me of like you guys. We just have a good time and stuff. We just joke around or just roast each other, or, from time to time, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And he's a NASCAR driver. I mean, he's just having fun, man. And I also like his driving ability. I think he has a great future in the sport as well.
I don't know. I think people they're too sensitive nowadays, and they're also, they say they want something and then they don't want it. It's like, we want a driver with personality. Drivers of personality come by. Well, not that kind of personality.
He's damaging the sports image or something crazy like that.
What people really want is they want the highlight reel version of Dale Earnhardt. And even Dale Earnhardt throughout his career was not the highlight reel version of Dale Earnhardt. So
he wasn't.
Yeah, there were times where Dale Earnhardt was in the wrong. There were times when Darrell Waltrip was in the. There's times when everyone was in the wrong. So it's like,
I'm glad. I'm sorry. I'm glad you brought up Dale Earnhardt because Dale Earnhardt, like a lot of now that he's passed, a lot of people look at him as this saint. Oh well, he was racing hard and stuff, but people fail to realize and remember that when he was driving, he was not liked at all. He didn't win most popular driver until after his death in 2001. He wasn't even close to winning that. And I mean, it's I hate to say it. If you want a Dale Earnhardt type driver nowadays, like Kyle Busch, that's your guy. I mean, that's close enough. That's the closest driver we have to Dale Earnhardt, which isn't even that close at all. But I mean, out of all the drivers,
because Kyle Busch is a better driver.
No.
We had you on because we thought you were smart, Rusty.
Yeah, I wanted to get chat going on that.
I've said that as a joke. Let me be on record. I've said that to Jarrett as a joke. I don't know if Rusty said that for real.
We need NASCAR blasphemy laws.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, sorry
But
to cut
no,
you
I
off
mean,
there, but
it's just, NASCAR fans. Well, and one last thing about Earnhardt is Earnhardt was another driver who was literally you either loved him or hated him kind of thing.
Right.
I think NASCAR fans nowadays, it's like we want this, but if it's not exactly like this, then it's horrible.
You're pretty spot on.
I'll admit, it's like I'm not as into a favorite driver as much as I would be last year, because mine's gone. But it doesn't mean that I don't like the sport. It doesn't mean that, sometimes you have to change. And we can't just sit and think, oh, well, it's all right. We can just have it. We can't be stuck in 2004 anymore. That's kind of how I keep putting it. It's like NASCAR fans are sort of stuck with, oh, we want it to be just like it was before. Now, I think some elements need to be brought back to the way it were before, but it's like you're not going to get it the way it was before. It's got to change over time.
We need to evolve and stuff. We need to be open to more things. Like, the whole Drive for Diversity program is a step in the right direction. Having, other ethnicities, in the sport as well. I mean, that's a good start and stuff. It's a good change to what we've had in years past and stuff. But now, I think we're getting into like drivers' personalities and stuff as well. Like, it's like we're seeing these guys right now, and right now the NASCAR fans, they hate Kyle Busch and like some hate Noah Gregson and stuff. But if they decide like, hey, I don't want to race in NASCAR anymore, you guys are gonna miss him. Sorry, it's a fact. You guys are gonna miss him. If Kyle Busch decided, oh, I'm retiring after the season, I would miss him in the sport. To be honest with you, I would miss him. I think everyone on this panel would miss him as well.
I miss him not running the Xfinity series every week. It's
well, I'd miss rooting again. I'd miss rooting for him like to wreck out or blow an engine each week. I mean,
right.
you can miss someone while not liking them just because you miss loving to hate them.
Guys like Kyle Busch, and I'd throw Tony Stewart, and I've kept kind of quiet because I don't know that much about Noah Gregson. I've not paid attention. I know he's made controversial statements, done controversial things. I don't know what any of them are, so I don't want to make an opinion on that. But I know Kyle Busch. He's important to the sport. If he left, it would be terrible because as many haters as he has just as many people that are for him. And I think it's important that when people say that we need more personalities and then they criticize, but not that kind of personality, I think that's good that those people exist and that those comments are being made, because that's the point of having a driver with personality, is that a lot of people are going to be strongly against, but there's also going to be people that are strongly for certain drivers with certain personalities. I think as long as you're not hurting anyone, there's no harm in having the craziest personality possible in the garage. Greg's can be doing whatever the heck he wants as long as he's not actually hurting anybody. And some people will like it, some people won't. And I think that kind of thing is good for the sport. If we have too many people like Eric Jones, Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, who have absolutely zero personality whatsoever, the sport's going to kind of just going to linger. You need Kyle Busch's. This is part of why the problem I have with the big three this year is that two of the three drivers are two of the most boring guys in the garage with Harvick and Truex. If it was Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, and Clint Boyer, people would be having more fun right now than the fact that it's Harvick and Truex. I mean, obviously, I know there's a lot of Harvick and Truex fans, but I'm just saying personality-wise.
Wait a minute, but Gregson is hurting people. He's hurting people's feelings. Oh, he's hurting people's feelings.
A little bit of that's fine. I think a little bit of that's good to spice things up a little bit,
Exactly.
I don't know. Do we have anything else to add to that, or can we go on to the silly season drama / rumor / fun?
Let's get into silly season. Let's get into silly season.
All right.
Can't wait to get into that.
Let's start with what was in Rusty's video about Truex. So, Rusty, would you like to segue us off into the Truex drama?
Well, I kind of created that video because we've seen all the rumors of Truex. It started with, will Furniture Row field a team? It's just gone from, like I said, a silly season to a scary season, where once the rumors came out about GMS potentially buying that team and potentially that team just legitimately shutting down, that's when it got really scary for me. And now we're talking about Truex going to all these places. That's cute and fun. But the actual rumor news that they were trying to sell kind of raises an alarm. And then the 19 was just part of that rumor. I think going to the 19 is part of Truex going to the 41 rumor, Truex going to the whatever rumor. I personally think Truex will be back at the 78 for 1 year. I think it'll be one more year for Furniture Row and then they'll sell. But that was the topic of that video, is just the direction the sport's heading with expenses, sponsorship, and it kind of turned into this perfect storm of, our defending champion doesn't have a ride.
Well, this is obvious. Yeah, I mean, this is obviously great news for Truex because if one team folds, he already has somewhere else to go. But this is terrible news for sure, and his fans as well. I mean, you win the championship, and then after 2 years, you don't really do anything with the ride. You put up some flashy moments at, in certain races and stuff, but it's never sustained. And now he's going to be relegated to a team, Levine Family Racing, which I don't think they've ever had. Have they ever had a top 5 ever? Maybe like one, I think maybe one or something like that. But I mean, it's not a good situation for him. And but essentially for Truex and Joe Gibbs, if he signs them, you essentially have the dream team for 2019. You got Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., who have won championships, and Hamlin, who's won races consistently every year. Well, except not this year because 3 drivers have basically dominated all season. And then you have an up-and-comer in Eric Jones, which I think you can make the argument that out of all the young guns, Eric Jones might have the best chance to win his first championship, out of Chase Elliott or Ryan Blaney, or maybe Kyle Larson as well, just, not only because of his talent, but the situation he's in. He's with a great team at the moment.
I kind of stay away from labeling someone as a dream team because I figured the last time that happened, 2 or 3 of them did good for the span that there was that dream team, but it's like there's always that one that crumbles under pressure. I'm talking about like 08 to 2010 to honestly 08 to 2017 or 2015 or whatever. Hendrick.
Yeah.
Always one of the teams sucked, whether it was, Mears that first year, Earnhardt for a few years, Martin, Kane, even Gordon was pretty bad in one of those years. I mean, I can't label. I wouldn't label them one because I know that one of them would probably fold or choke. So,
and also don't forget Stewart-Haas. I mean, when Kurt Busch and you had I'm gonna throw her in here because she is notable. Danica Patrick was on the team. Kurt Busch, I know, and Kevin Harvick and Clint Boyer all were on that one team. And I'm glad you said that. There's always that one team. I mean, 3 of the teams were fine, but then that 10 team was just bad. Well, the driver was bad, not the team. And then now what they have now, you could call that a dream team as well. I mean, Eric Almirola is running up front consistently and stuff. I mean, he's not as notable as the guys, as the other 3 on Stewart-Haas, but I mean, he has been in the sport for a while. And, he did give Richard Petty a win while he was over there. It was 1 win in 6 years and stuff, but come on, it's Petty Enterprises. Like they're not going to be winning on a consistent basis every week. So you can make the argument that a dream team is already over there at Stewart-Haas.
As far as dream teams are concerned, I think I like talking about them because I think they prove how important certain drivers are. We saw how when Edwards and Kenseth left Roush, they were terrible. They went to JGR, and Kyle Busch wins a championship. Like it helped JGR immensely. This year, Stewart-Haas Racing is the one team with 4 established veterans, and they are they're having their best season since they've been in existence. So I think I do like talking about it because it shows how important some drivers are to the success of certain organizations. But I want to get back to Truex and to Furniture Row and to that whole drama because I read the reports, the rumors that he could go to the 19 car and that Suarez could maybe go to the 95 if they do intend to switch to Toyota and all these rumors. The idea that Truex going to the 19 sounds like it just makes too much sense. Suarez is struggling. And so you put him in the 95 because he is struggling. He is not living up to in 2 years what the 19 car is capable of. But the reason I'm apprehensive and the reason I do not know where Truex will be, because I'm not confident the 78's in a good place right now. I'm not confident that they are confident in Truex. And Truex could go anywhere. So I don't know why he would settle for the 78 team right now unless they have a deal with Toyota and JGR worked out. So the only reason I don't think he'd go to the 19 car is purely money-based reasons because Truex currently, he's missing half his schedule worth of sponsorship. So he's not like he's bringing in a ton of sponsorship to that 19 car. But if Joe Gibbs Racing is willing to pay Martin Truex Jr., a veteran champion, to drive that car, why did they get rid of Matt Kenseth? Why did they get rid of Carl Edwards?
Yep.
Like if you got rid of the 2 of them, clearly it's because we can't afford 3-4 veteran superstar drivers. We have to settle for a couple of young guys. So that's why I'm like, it makes a ton of sense for him to go to the 19. But if they're going to bring Truex, like if that's the case, they would have kept Kenseth, or they would have tried to convince Edwards to stay, or however that worked. So I don't know if I understand if that makes that much sense to me. But it sounds really good. It makes a lot of sense on paper, but I just don't know if it's actually going to work out. So Truex, I think even splits between going back to the 78, going maybe to the 41, or going to the 19. It's interesting how Furniture Row Racing has found themselves in this situation because it doesn't really make any sense to me. I mentioned this briefly before we started, but like the fact that Furniture Row Racing basically survived in NASCAR for about a decade with little to no outside sponsorship. They were just the Furniture Row Denver mattress car going around every weekend running 25th. That was who they were for 10 years or so. Then when they got Truex, they added Bass Pro Shops, 5 Hour Energy, Auto Owners, a bunch of other sponsors to basically fully fund them the last couple of years. And they win a championship, win a bunch of races. And now the moment one sponsor drops out for not even half the season, oh my gosh, we're out of business. We're shutting down. I don't know where they went wrong with their finances to make this happen. But it really doesn't make sense to me. The fact that all this has been coming out lately is just blowing my mind. I'm like, I didn't know I had to worry about Furniture Row Racing, but now we do. And I don't know, what do you guys have to think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense that they wouldn't be able to go, especially, since they did self-sponsor themselves for how many years? Like, well, I want to say like a good 9 or 10 years. So
something like that. Yeah.
I don't see them going. I really don't see them going anywhere. If Truex doesn't have that sponsorship, I guess, depending on what Truex's price tag is, it's a driver's salary. But I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, and also, I mean, back to Suarez. I mean, while Eric was talking, I was thinking about this too. There was a guy who I did a bus video on, up and comer. Gets 1 year in the Cup Series. Then that same team moves him down to a sucky team, but they had the alliance, and then he sucks there and he's out. Could we be seeing a different pattern? It's kind of the same pattern, but sort of different in some ways, because Suarez has raced for 2 years for Joe Gibbs. Could we be seeing the same thing that happened to Casey Atwood? If Suarez doesn't step up with this alliance, if there is some sort of alliance in the works, let's say he goes over to Levine Family Racing and he basically runs the same there. Or like, if not, he runs worse. I think Suarez, at that point, you can call him a bus.
I think his sponsor's kind of dictating who's in that car, where he's going. That's my opinion on the 19 and Suarez. Whether he's a playoff contender or not, I think it's up to the sponsor, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the current era we're in NASCAR.
Yeah, sponsors have way too much control nowadays, I think. I think that's the problem of it being so corporatized over the last 30 years or so.
I mean, the Eris, I don't know if this is confirmed and stuff. I remember you were talking about it, Jared. I mean, they basically kicked out Edwards, right?
Yeah, that was a big thing, yeah, that they wanted Suarez up there because he helped sort of promote more on a worldwide basis compared to Edwards, whereas Edwards...
I mean, are you
really
forgetting? You think they're regretting that?
I do. Because, I mean, how many times you see... Let's be honest, this season, how many times have you seen the Eris car when it's not crumpled up?
Good point.
It's
even
true.
last year, too.
I'd say last year, towards the end of the year, he actually was running well. That's why I thought he'd be doing so much better this year, but
right, it's been a disappointment.
I was wrong.
I mean, it's been a disappointment. I mean, I figured he'd be not a championship contender, obviously, like not even a top 10 driver. Like, let's say somewhere in the 12th to 14th place points range at this point in the season. And the fact that he's nowhere near close to that, such a low standard, by the way, because this playoffs, it's not hard to get in. It's a low standard playoffs of getting into this playoffs and stuff.
Had the playoffs been around in 2004, guys like Kevin Harvick and Dale Jarrett, with as bad a years as they had, would have made it with ease. Like guys like Michael Waltrip would be on the cutoff line. Just think about that.
This is real. He actually did his research, folks. That's a new series he's going to be doing pretty soon. If we had the playoffs in certain years. I'm not going to say the whole playoffs, but Michael Waltrip and Terry Labonte would have been close to making the playoffs, correct? If we had it in 04. So just that's the standard that NASCAR is currently in. And the fact that you can't make such an easy form of a NASCAR, Cup Series playoffs, it's sad. And if he doesn't step it up next year, you will be seeing a bust video on Suarez very soon.
Yeah. No, I agree. I really like Daniel Suarez. I want him to succeed. he made strides by the end of last, because he was not ready at the start of last season, but he looked ready towards the end of last season. This year, he's only had about that. He's just recently had like a 5 or 6 week stretch where he looked really good, where he was almost won Pocono. He ran up front at several races, had a couple top fives in a row. I think he had 2 top fives in a row at one point. Mm-hmm. But other than that 5 week stretch, he's disappointed. And it just all goes back to, you look back, the last race that the 19 drove, that wasn't Daniel Suarez, was when Carl Edwards came this close to winning his first and only Cup championship. So that's a championship level car that he's driving, and he's running 15th with it, typically at best. So that's part of why, because he is a marketing machine. He's likable. Everyone likes him. He's got the international fans and international international appeal. So to keep him, Toyota would like to keep him. That's why and I know we're talking about a lot of rumors here, but it's been highly rumored that Levi Family Racing will switch to Toyota. They're 90% sure, apparently. So keeping him in Toyota, keeping him somewhat associated with that and them and that brand, but in a lesser equipment car that he can just continue to run 20th with, and nobody's going to worry too much about it. Makes sense. It's sad, but it makes sense. I mean, this day and age in NASCAR, it's become like baseball, where you could be a hot prospect, and you'll get a couple of years kind of in the big leagues, maybe in and out a little bit, going between bigs and minors. But if you start to struggle, all of a sudden, if you struggle in the big leagues, you're not going to keep getting called up. And NASCAR has kind of got to that point where there's so many people. The fact that Martin Truex Jr. has a chance of not getting a ride next year just shows you how competitive it is for seats in these cars. And the money only goes so far. You know, if like you look at drivers that have been saved by money. Paul Menard's been saved by his family owning Menards and sponsoring him for years, but he was on a below average team at RCR, so nobody was really gunning for that seat. Eric Almirola with Richard Petty Motorsports had Smithfield, and still does, backing him till the end of time, but he was on a mediocre team, not really doing much, so nobody really was gunning for him. But now Daniel Suarez has this sponsorship with Eris and Stanley. They love him, they want him to do well, and he's on a great team that a lot of people are gunning for, and he's not doing well. So I think it only makes sense for him to fall to a smaller team. That's what guys like him are destined to kind of have happen to them.
And I think that long term, them sticking with Suarez, you know, if the thing about Edwards is completely true, is a really bad decision, because with that you've lost Subway, who is a sponsor who probably would have stayed there a little longer. And
they would have stayed with Edwards. They would have stayed with Edwards.
Yeah, and with Suarez not being, you know, if Suarez is out of that car, you lose Eris as a sponsor. So what happens then? You know, what sponsors do they have on a regular basis? I think they had a Coca-Cola car for one race.
Yeah, for the Vegas series.
What else?
I like that scheme.
Yeah, nice. But what else to, like, sponsorship wise, does that 19 car have going to it? Like, could we see if Suarez?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if they can't get a full year sponsorship for that car, they wouldn't race it. I think we'd see Gibbs go back to a 3-car team. Like, if they can't, because I mean, it is a little harder to get the full sponsorship for Cup Series, especially nowadays, because the cost is so high for such a minimal return for the sponsors. Like, how many sponsors really are going for most of the year outside of Penske, you know, of their sponsorship? I mean, it's just I don't know. I think they've sort of painted themselves in a box. And then with the next rumor we're going to be going towards that was announced earlier this week or earlier today, you know, Gibbs is sort of in a few boxes right now. They've went from like being in the catbird seat 3 years ago to being the team right now that looks like it should have everything figured out, but is actually more unsure about its future than I think a lot of people are giving it credit.
Yeah. So do you want to transition into that rumor?
I think so.
Report?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. Did we hear? I'm sorry. Did we hear Rusty's opinions on Suarez or the whole situation?
Yeah.
Bruce, or,
yeah.
Okay.
The only thing I do want to add is I wish. Well, Eric gets full credit for this. I didn't even think about this. The fact that Edwards left and Kenseth left as a championship caliber driver, and now they're going to suddenly pull in Truex. No, that was, I think, the greatest point made out of all this, in my opinion. That was just brilliant. Like, so.
Thank you. As a Kenseth fan, I will forever be salty.
Well, we're gonna go to this really quick. So Noah Gregson probably gonna be in JRM equipment next year in the Xfinity Series. What's everybody's thoughts on that? I'll start with Rusty really quick, if that's all right.
I don't really have too many thoughts. I just like to see these kids get promoted to have the opportunity to excel in a new opportunity, better maybe. Who knows what his Xfinity ride would have been or could have been. Like, I don't know what his offers were behind the scenes, even with the trucks. I don't know all that drama, but that he's getting elevated to, I mean, arguably one of the best cars in the series. I think it's a great opportunity. I'm excited to see what he can do to actually prove if he is a great driver or if he's what Kamikaze says he is. Either way, I'm tuning in to watch. Great personality, great for the sport. I'm just excited to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree. I like the move. I mean, he does bring sponsorship as well. And also, yeah, he's not the most talented prospect in the truck series, but he's talented. I saw a comment in the chat on the stream saying that, oh, he has no talent. That's not true. He has some talent. I mean, no talent. If he had no talent, then he would just be wrecking every week in Kyle Busch equipment and stuff. You know, what's important to me is consistency. And when he's been racing in the truck series, he's been consistent. And some of y'all failed to mention on Twitter that in his Xfinity Series debut, he finished second. Yeah, that was in Joe Gibbs' equipment, but he finished second at Richmond. It wasn't like some plate track like Daytona or Talladega where all you got to do is just, you know, press on the gas pedal and stuff and say in the draft, nope, it's easy to finish second. But no, Richmond, that's a tough place. It's a short track. He finished second there. So I was happy about that. And also I did a Twitter poll. Currently has 189 votes. I did it this morning. I asked, you know, I've seen some mixed feelings about Noah Gregson rumors that he's going to Junior Motorsports next year. What do y'all think? And 66% of you said it was a good move compared to 34% saying it's a bad move. Now, I'm going to be honest here. I think some people are still in their feelings about the whole Canadian tire finish. So if let's take away that, let's say he just passes him clean and stuff, that number, that bad move, it would probably wouldn't be 34%. It would probably be somewhere like 10.
It'd probably be 50-50.
Like
Let's
10
be honest.
It would be 50-50?
I think as it, well, I'm saying as it goes with Gregson, I think more people are jumping on the hate bandwagon right now. I think it'd be about 10 without that, but I'm saying moving forward, I still think that it's like once there's a hate bandwagon in NASCAR, it's like there's no stopping it. I mean, look at Jeff Gordon, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin. Look at basically half the drivers in the field right now. But I think without that 10% definitely, but I still think moving forward, I think more people are going to jump on hating him for the most part, no reason.
Well,
yeah.
To add on top of that, you can look at like as a parallel with him and John Hunter Nemechek. If you would have done that poll after Nemechek did what he did to Cole Custer a couple years ago, that would have been like 90%. Like the kid's an idiot. So I think if he stays quiet, stays humble, works, I think the fans are going to possibly turn back, especially if the Hendrick team coaches get him into that corporate mindset and kind of coach him and get him into a corporate guy instead of kind of what he is now. I think he's got potential.
And also, there's some other rumors too. It's like, oh, this is the way this is going. You know, him being in the Hendrick family. Once Jimmie, 2021, he's going to replace the greatest driver of all time, Jimmie Johnson. That's what some of the people have said. So, I don't know. That might be in the future and stuff. That's so far out there to replace the greatest driver of all time. But See, I saw that, Jarrett, and
it's a natural reaction to stupid.
So it's so far out there and stuff, but I like it. I like it in that one car, and let's be honest here. I wanted Jesse Little to drive for JR Motorsports. I think he's proven himself in what little equipment he has. I would like for him to go over to the 5. We all know that Annette's just going to waste that ride for the next 2 years, something like that. That's not going to happen. But, I'm glad to see a young prospect getting a shot.
I'm glad you mentioned Jimmie Johnson, him taking over for Jimmie Johnson, because that's what this is really that's what is most important to me is the future impacts for this. Because if you ask on your poll, if you specify, is this a good move for Gregson versus if this is a good move for Junior Motorsports, to answer, is this a good move for Gregson? Yes, this is a 100% no-brainer move because he has no future at Joe Gibbs Racing. And unless a bunch of small teams continue to convert to Toyota, like Levine might, or like JTG or somebody else might, there's no future for him right there. He's got to go through Jones, Suarez, Christopher Bell, possibly Ryan Preece, Brandon Jones, maybe even. He's got so many guys he's got to go through before he gets a ride. You go to Hendrick, you go Junior Motorsports. Yeah, he's currently no brainer next in line to replace Jimmie Johnson, whether you like it or not. Whether that's the best move or not, maybe you can debate that. But like as far as his future is concerned, it makes total sense. But I want to. You had talked about how Joe Gibbs Racing, has this issue of they've had too much talent, and now that you're finally starting to see that they don't know what to do with all of it, they can't put it everywhere, so they're going to lose some drivers. And I think it'll be really interesting to see if they've made the right decision, because clearly they had to have been talking to Noah Gregson about Xfinity stuff. He's raced with them in the Xfinity Series before. They had to have been in conversations with him, and they ultimately decided to let him go to Junior Motorsports, go to Chevy. And it'll just be interesting to see if they made the right decision, because eventually in the next couple of years, Christopher Bell will be in the Cup Series. Possibly Ryan Preece will be in the Cup Series. Possibly another guy from Gibbs. Who knows? Suarez will probably still be there. And then likely Noah Gregson will be there in a Chevy car of some sort. And it'll be interesting to see going forward in 10 years who made the right decision. Was Bell the right decision? Was Gregson the right decision? My heart says Bell is the smart decision. Gregson's kind of a wild card. That's what I would think. But time will only tell who really makes the right move here, because I don't know. I think the future implications is what makes this most interesting. As far as for next season, Gregson will be a top 5 contender in races where Cup guys aren't in them, and he'll make the playoffs and have a shot at the championship, just like Sadler did every year.
I think I think Gregson's expectation should be put that high. Like, I think if he doesn't make the championship 4, if they still have that format, knowing NASCAR, but if he makes it, that should be where it's at. If he doesn't, I think the season should be seen as a disappointment, because didn't Sadler make it like basically every year we've had this system? He made the Final 4 or almost ever.
You look at how all guys winning so many races. Like Junior Motorsports has a good equipment.
And truth, coming from me, I think that Gregson has more talent than Justin Allgaier, and I think that one team overall probably is a better team than the team that Allgaier's in. I personally think that. I think my expectation is he should be going for a championship next year. If the talent that I think he has comes to fruition, I think that he'll win the championship. But if not, then I think there should be some question marks. And again, maybe the first year, a little bit of a rookie kind of slump or something, but yeah, I'd say in JRM equipment, I would take him as my pick next year.
I think, you're right. It should be probably Final 4 or bust. If he doesn't make it to the Final 4, he's still going to have to go through, I guess Christopher Bell will probably still be there. He's still going to have to go through Bell and other Gibbs cars, plus Allgaier or whoever else is in Junior Motorsport. So I can live with him not winning the championship. In 2016, or no, what year is it? Yeah, 2016, Daniel Suarez beat Eric Jones to win the championship. Who's really the better driver? Eric Jones. We know that. Most of us would agree with that. So, championship doesn't matter as much to me, but you're right. Final 4, I think, has got to be the goal.
Yeah. Well, I think anything can happen.
He's going to get his first win. He's going to get his first career win at Richmond. I mean, the way he ran last week, you heard it first. Gregson's getting his first win.
Anything can happen in that final race. I mean, I know it's Homestead, so it's pretty predictable. But at the same time, I mean, you make it to the Final 4, your expectation should be to win the championship, because, again, it's a NASCAR race. Even as boring and predictable as NASCAR may be nowadays, anything can happen. Anyone can blow an engine. Any lap car can take you out. So you make the Final 4, I think that the expectation has to be win it. Unless you luck into it, which is quite possible.
And also, some of y'all forgot Tyler Reddick. I mean, does he have more talent than Tyler Reddick? Absolutely. I mean, yeah, he's won the one race at Daytona and stuff, but I mean, what else has he done? He's been somewhat consistent, but still, I think Gregson's the better prospect. And just don't be surprised if he's competing for a title next year. I mean, I guess Reddick is in kind of a tough situation, because he had William Byron, who just won 4 or 5 races last year, and he wins the championship, and then he replaces him, and he's only gotten that Daytona win. And there are a few people in there saying, yeah, he's just been inconsistent right now and stuff. And yeah, he did win at Kentucky last year and stuff, but once again, the sport is all about consistency. So it's all about that average finish.
I would just like to add also that it might just be because this is the most I've paid attention to it since then, but I kind of see this year's silly season drama right now being sort of the most intriguing for the sport moving forward, Probably the most intriguing year since 2007, in my opinion. You guys might, disagree,
No,
but
I agree.
it just seems like
Yeah,
the one
right.
that draws in the most interest right now. I mean, it's kind of like every year, NFL free agency, NBA, whatever, MLB, they always draw in, like, people are like, oh, I wonder who's going where. I wonder this. There's always halfway through the season, oh, they might not be there next year. Oh, they're probably not gonna. And it's like, this is sort of the first year since 2007 that NASCAR has felt that way. And I think it adds to the sport because you have something to talk about throughout the week. These little rumors, these, different stories come out. And I think it's nothing but good for the sport. There's more storylines to talk about, more people to maybe stumble upon it and get intrigued with it. So I don't know. Do you guys agree with me on that?
Yeah, no, totally.
It's good exposure for guys like Gregson, like that don't normally watch the truck. So I think it's a great thing.
I'd have to agree with you there. I mean, and I'm glad you brought up like, well, NFL, NBA, NHL, like they always have these exciting, free agency periods and stuff. Otherwise, like meanwhile in NASCAR, not really, because you got guys. I mean, usually drivers they'll sign contracts in like the middle of the season, so it's like, oh, well, we already know where he's going and stuff like that. But 2007 really was the year because Junior was leaving, and then you had Busch going to Joe Gibbs and Mark Martin replacing Junior in the 8 part-time with Eric Almirola. That was pretty crazy.
And Gibbs until the end, not knowing.
Whether they would change manufacturers.
Yeah, I don't think they knew until like the chase that year that they were going to Toyota. Like I know there was talks about it, but it wasn't like confirmed.
I remember hearing that news, and everyone I was just being so shocked. Like, what? Why? Why are they doing this? Like me, because you saw Michael Waltrip, but I was 7, and you're like, oh my god, like they're just gonna suck and stuff. Well, I mean, they're not gonna be as good. They're not going to be that level of bad like Michael Waltrip racing that season. But yeah, I mean, this has been probably the most intriguing free agency period, or just the most intriguing off season or silly season since 07, since Junior's departure from DEI.
And it all started because, like, right now I feel like we don't know where anybody's going, which is what you guys basically just said. We don't know where anyone's going. It all started with that report that we still haven't confirmed or been able to confirm or deny whether or not Kurt Busch is going to the Chip Ganassi. Like the idea that one of the biggest names in the sport could switch teams just out of nowhere, like nobody sees that coming.
And also I saw this somewhere else. Ross Chastain, he's in the running for the 1 car. It's crazy. It's crazy. I know he's in the running for the 1 car. I mean, he is making some races. He is doing 3 races in the playoffs in that 42 car. And we were talking about like, oh, John Hunter Nemechek's got to move up, but now all of a sudden Ross Chastain, who has proven himself in JD Motorsports equipment, he gets the best out of that equipment and stuff. And I like his style too. He just pisses people off the way he races. Because I mean, I like that. He has to be aggressive in this equipment, whether he to get the most points and stuff. And I like that. He takes risks and stuff. I really like that. But I mean, for him, all of a sudden to be in the running, to just jumping up right, that's basically rags to riches right there in this situation. So. It's already a fun silly season. It's going to be a really fun off season.
Well, and then oh my god, I lost my train of thought. Oh no, yeah, John Hunter Nemechek. Knowing his luck, he'd probably be signed to the 1 car, and like the one thing in the contract is you just have to make it to the announcement, and he'd probably like his car would run out of gas a mile away, and he would never make it. That's knowing his luck. That's how it would go.
All right.
No, he'd be driving his dad's car. He'd have to borrow his dad's car and run out of gas on the way there. And he wouldn't be able to make it.
I feel for John Hunter a little bit. I mean, I feel for him a little bit. I mean, I said last week that team's holding him back. They're just holding him back. I mean, if that's what they want to do, it's like, hey, we're going to, since nobody's offering me any Cup Series rides, come on, Daddy, let's just move up to the Cup Series and just run 35th every week. Kind of like what you did. So, I mean, this is throwback week. So that would be a really awesome throwback for the whole season. I mean, just be a start car driver like that. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm just saying, it'd be crazy. If you move him up, you better have an alliance with somebody, because we know damn well if he moves up on his own. Oh,
John Hunter, we want you to come on the show. We swear.
I want you to come on the show, man. But come on now.
And bring your dad. We got enough little boxes for y'all in the corner. Y'all can have your own little face cam.
I mean, I just wonder if we did have him on the show, like on the podcast, like would he like agree with me on that? Like I think his team's holding him back, or would he be defending him?
I don't think
That'd
he'd
be
say
interesting.
I don't think he'd say it on. He'd defend them on camera.
Now he would defend them, but deep down in his heart, he knows.
Oh,
He knows.
yeah,
He agrees
that's
with me.
probably true. But yeah,
He's like, he knows. I mean, it's just the way it is.
I think
So-
everybody knows what he's capable on the track, and they've seen it. They know what the kid can do. I think it spoke volumes. Whether it's running out in the last lap, he knows. I see it on Twitter. He gets the acknowledgement and shares it. It's cool.
Really quick before we keep going on or switch to anything else, I need to show this picture.
Uh-oh.
Danny is wearing his throwback hat, Davey Allison.
That's right.
So
devoted to the cause.
he's here in spirit.
And
So
also, just really quick, I wanted to make another announcement. Also, lick the like button, guys, and also,
Yeah.
I want to say this is confirmed for the YouTube Pro Series. What channel we're going to be on, right? Right, Jarrett? Is it confirmed?
I think for the most part.
So basically, our good buddy Caleb, he's already made a channel. If you guys don't remember, he made it during the BS stream, and we promoted it there. The YouTube Pro Series, I think that's the channel name. I'm subscribed to it. I'll go look for the link, and I'll leave it in the chat and stuff. But yeah, that's going to be the official home of the NASCAR YouTube Pro Series this offseason. So get ready. November 30th is going to be the start to the most exciting offseason in NASCAR YouTube history. I'll put the link down there, and yeah, you guys go subscribe.
Yeah, because it's going to be fun.
And also spectator mode as well has already been confirmed, I think, for the Pro Series. So it's going to take it to a whole nother level.
Well, and if it's not like amazing racing the whole time, at least you'll be able to see a fun demolition derby. Think of it like that. You win either way, and you don't have to pay $10 to stream it either.
Yeah, you don't. You don't. By the way, that was a great fight. By the way.
But I just wanted to jump in it, put it in there.
Well, you know what my mom said? She's like, "You guys are a bunch of a bunch of idiots." My bad. You guys are a bunch of idiots. See, I couldn't even hold it. I did it last week and I did this week. I'm sorry. I'm saying what she said. You guys are a bunch of idiots. The whole thing was fake. It was a fake fight, and you guys, they're probably just thinking, "Oh, like look at them, like they're probably just rolling around in all the dough that we paid to watch it." But yeah.
So it's confirmed at Bristol. We're all fighting. All right. So I say that's a good way to end that little segment. We want to go to picks really quick, and then we can sort of go from there. Yeah, we need a swear jar for Darian. It used to be me, but
Oh, come on! I only did it
went to
once.
rehab. Yeah, this week.
Once.
I went to swearing rehab. So so Darian, put a quarter in the jar.
I'm not putting nothing. Please. But let's see. Do I have any? I don't even have any change in here. So.
Give me a loose change, please. Put it in a colorful cup.
I'll give you something up now. I'm just playing.
Yeah, people are shocked that it wasn't me that actually was the one to cuss. I haven't cussed in months on stream.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go to picks while we're that picks. Who's gonna suck this week?
Ooh. All right. I'll have Rusty go first. I was about to say mine.
I didn't think about the suck. I don't know if it's because I was watching the Monday podcast. I was thinking of like the super underdog, your sleeper, and then the winner. So that's what I went with this week. I wasn't thinking of a suck. But I mean, I can always throw Bubba Wallace out there as a suck.
Do something that's a little more outside the box.
You're not wrong.
I don't know who's gonna like. I didn't do my research on that side of things.
I can go first because I have mine. My pick is Brad Keselowski to suck because he has sucked for a while now, at least especially by Brad Keselowski standards. I don't have any more detail. I made that up right here on the spot, so it's that easy, boys and girls.
I call
All
going
right.
last because I'm hosting.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Oh, my bad. Yeah. Damn. Well, you said no. You said Bubba, but come on, he sucks every week. And then
that's more of a team issue.
Yeah. Basically, it's not because of driver by all means. It hurts me to say this a little bit because I really love the scheme. I really do. But Ryan Blaney's track record at Darlington's not the best. So I don't really expect anything this week from him. Ryan Blaney is gonna suck.
He
this
wrecked
week.
like lap 1 last year, and
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, yeah, let's say he doesn't wreck. I expect him to run maybe 12th, 13th, something like that. I mean, so yeah, don't really expect anything much from him this week.
So, Rusty, are you abstaining from the sucking pick?
yeah, I'm just sticking with Bubba. I'm taking
come on.
Bubba.
Come
I
on.
love Bubba, but I'm just being realistic here.
All right,
Yeah.
I was gonna do Blaney because his average is 24.67, but
Yikes.
I don't want to tread over the same ground. So I'm gonna ask you guys this: if I told you a driver of the last 2 years at Darlington, his average finish was 22.5, who would you think?
Eric Almirola.
Jimmie Johnson.
Correct, and that's who
Oh.
I'm picking because he's gonna match his throwback scheme and be awful.
Yeah, basically.
I thought you were going to say it's going to finish 48th.
Well, the way that they've been running this year, that's probably how they see the season so far. And he'll still make the playoffs.
Yeah,
Anyway.
that's the standard. That's the standard. You don't have to be good. Just got to be mediocre.
Yeah, I see the standard down there.
Yeah. Well, you got to look a little deeper.
No, there's a
dig a
hole
little
in the
further.
basement. There's a hole. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
All right. With that, who is going to be our underdog pick?
I guess this counts as an underdog because he hasn't won a race, I think, since this race last year. I'm not exactly sure on that, but it feels like it might be pretty close. I think Denny Hamlin, he hasn't won in a long time. He's been struggling. He's been next to Suarez. He's probably been the third best Gibbs car for most of this season. He won the Xfinity and the Cup race here last weekend. He's got one of the best paint schemes, one of the best just stories behind it out of anyone this weekend. So I think Hamlin's a good underdog pick. He could maybe be some people's pick to win the race, but I think Denny has a good chance this weekend.
Wait, hold up. So Hamlin won the race last year, and he's the underdog?
I asked. Nobody stopped me, so I went through with it and I gave you my whole spiel. I told you he hasn't won a race. I don't think he's won a race since then.
Yeah, he
So,
hasn't. Nah, he hasn't.
I think it's fair to make him an underdog.
Who's next?
Rusty?
I'll jump in on this. I've been keeping my eye on the RCR cars lately. I don't necessarily think they'll win, but what if there's a track position game late? Newman stays out, Austin Dillon stays out. I'm pulling for the RCR cars this weekend. I think I don't want to go out like on a limb like Darian, but I got my eye on those two cars, and I might pick Austin Dillon as my. I think I'm going with Austin Dillon. We're going Dillon.
I almost went Austin Dillon because I think did he finish top 5 here last year?
I can fact check.
He ran
believe he
well.
was-
I looked
top
up
10.
I looked up the results like 2 days ago, and I think he finished like 5th or 3rd or 4th or something.
Yeah, I'll look it up really quick. Yeah.
So my underdog, it's really it was a toss up between 3 guys. This was really close. I thought about this: Eric Almirola, Alex Bowman, and then last but not least, I was thinking about Austin Dillon for a little bit there too. I'm glad you brought him up.
Yeah, he finished
I got-
4th last year.
I gotta go with Eric Almirola here. You know, I gotta go with him. At Bristol, he was in the top 5, but then he had that oil issue. It was going all over the track. And if you listen to the radio, Active Blaney was screaming on his radio, "Get that MF off the track and stuff, man." So I've never heard Blaney mad on the radio, like ever, to be honest with you. He's such a chill guy in person, I guess. I
Then
didn't
you
know
should look at Richard Petty when he was angry on the radio asking for a fire extinguisher.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, Eric Almirola, he's just been so consistently quiet. You know what I mean? Like, he's never really like finishing inside like the top 3 or top 5 most of the time, but he's always finishing like 6th, 7th, 10th, 9th, like all these top 10 finishes where it really counts. And so yeah, Eric Almirola is definitely my underdog this week.
That leaves me. So there were 2 people I was looking at as an underdog pick this week. Well, 3 as well. So just because one race isn't that big of a sample size, I had to keep Eric Jones out, even though he finished 5th last year. Which left me to 2 guys, Larson and Ryan Newman. And I looked back at their career numbers. So Larson averages 8.75 and Newman averages 11.68, right? but that's over their whole careers. Then I looked at the last 2 years. Larson averages 8.5, and Newman, who is my pick for an underdog, averages a 7.5 average finish at Darlington over the last 2 years, and he finished 7th here last year. I think he can be definitely an underdog pick this week.
Yeah, I can see that. All right.
Which leads us to who's going to win.
First off,
Okay.
hold on. For this week, before we get into the real winner, we should talk about who's won the paint scheme race, the war. Who's has the best paint scheme?
We should say that for after. We should do that after
Yeah.
this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Because
right.
we can talk all about paint schemes. If Chad will love that.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's go.
Pick to win this week. You guys might think I'm crazy because I know he just now snapped a long winless streak, but I'm going with Kurt Busch. He's going to get his redemption. He's never won the Southern 500, but literally the closest he ever came was when he drove a similar paint scheme to what he's driving this weekend. He's driving great equipment. He's been on a roll. I think he finished top 5 here last year as well. Kurt Busch is my pick. I thought about picking Kyle Busch, but I couldn't pick him for like the 10th time this year. I've done it too much, so I'm picking his brother. Kurt's my guy.
I'll jump in. A couple weeks ago when I was thinking about like Darlington, Indianapolis, and Bristol, I just was continuing the big 3 deal where it was Busch at Bristol, and then immediately I thought Truex at Darlington and then Harvick at Indianapolis. So my original pick was the 78. I think the 78 is going to be the man, but I've been thinking about it, and I want to get wild because I'm on the podcast. I'm going with Chase Elliott. I think Chase Elliott's the man this week. I want to see it. We're at the throwback track. He did it in the Xfinity Series. Chase Elliott is getting his second win this weekend.
I like how the energy just ratcheted up like double the moment you said Chase Elliott. You're like, I don't know. Chase Elliott.
I got to win the chat back.
Well, while you were making your prediction, I pulled up the statistics from the last 2 Darlington races. In terms of average finish, there's one guy in particular who blows him out of the water. I don't think I'm going to pick him this week, though. But I'm looking at this right now. I'm looking at the top 10. This is very interesting, considering the playoff situation we're currently in right now and stuff. And the Southern 500, it's a pretty long race, so basically anything can happen. And my original pick was going to be Kyle Busch. It was going to be and stuff until I did some research on this last night, and this guy, he has to win to get into the playoffs. And you guys are probably going to crucify me on this and all that stuff, but I like Newman.
Ooh.
I like Newman here. I know. Yep. There we go. No words. I mean,
That's why he made the video this week.
Hold on. The last 2 races, average finish of 7.5, right behind Austin Dillon. He just mentioned those RCR cars, which have improved the last few weeks. We saw it at Michigan. We've seen it in qualifying as well. And I know some of y'all want to laugh. You can laugh right after I'm done talking. Right behind him, Austin Dillon has an 8th place average finish last 2 races. They know how to run this place, and RCR knows how to set up the cars. It's going to take a lot. I understand that. He's not just going to win straight up. It might be on fuel mileage and stuff. It might be because some other contenders have crashed out. But he has to be in that position. And if that happens, he'll be in that position. So Vic Newman is going to get in the playoffs this week.
So we're throwing back to 2003. So I perfect.
Yeah. I mean, I make a good case there. Gotta admit, I make a good case there.
You make a case. The average finish case, I don't know if I agree with, just because 7.5, that means he could have finished 6th and 8th and never been in contention to win,
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. If he should have been your underdog pick, because underdog, I feel like if they run top 5, you can say you got it right. Because Newman could finish top 5, but he didn't win. Sorry, he's not going to win.
I thought I was crazy picking those guys for my underdogs. I like the validation there.
I have learned from the Chase Elliott pick that I shouldn't laugh.
Well, hey, we'll see what happens. I might go crazy.
The Chase Elliott pick made sense, though.
No, it didn't.
I still
said
You
it.
were
You were the one.
time.
You were the one who was like, "Oh, I don't know what that logic's all about." I mean,
On the Chase Elliott pick?
Yes, that's what you
Oh
said.
no, I picked Chase Elliott. I think as my underdog to win for that race.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
I don't. Okay, you're right. I didn't. I told you he would run.
Grip Dog did.
I told you he would run top 5. That was exactly. I remember the line. I said he'd run top 5, but I didn't think he'd win. No. I laughed at you for picking Ryan Blaney a couple weeks ago. That's when I laughed at you. And he actually ran well in that race. I can't remember what track it was, but he finished like.
See, I have this gift. Where I pick these guys out of nowhere, and all of a sudden, bam! They just start running well. They start winning and stuff. It's unbelievable. So I mean, you can't go against the trends, man. Come on.
Yeah, 1 win and 24 picks. Nice job.
No, I didn't. I have 4. I probably have like 3 or 4.
Well,
3 or 4, right?
I was looking here at that same 2-year average. So ahead of Newman, Kyle Busch, 6.5, not my pick. Matt Kenseth, 6. Temptingly not my pick.
He's racing.
Kevin,
I forgot about that.
Kevin, yeah, the wiener car.
I forgot he was actually in this race.
Maybe the wiener will be a wiener.
Dang it.
Kevin Harvick, 5.5 last 2 races, not my pick. Eric Jones, mentioned him earlier. Truex, 4.5, not my pick. Now, my pick has a career average of over 10 races, so I think that's a big enough sample size. 5.83. Last 2 races, 2.50 average finish. He won here last year. Denny Hamlin repeats. That's my pick because I mean, it's like he gets better at the track the more he goes. I might be wrong. He might just regress like he has all this year, but I don't know. If there's anyone who's going to beat the big 3 this week, I think it's Denny Hamlin.
It's interesting. Nobody took Larson. That shows, I think, how far that team's fallen.
Now Larson is still going to win the title. We all know that. But he's going to have his the 2011 Tony Stewart season. He's going to win like a ton of races in the playoffs. His time will come. Don't worry.
Oh, a kid from Georgia brought up, before we talk about schemes, didn't someone get monetized?
Come. Yeah, who got monetized? Was it Rusty? Did you get monetized?
No.
Hey, I guess that. Wait, was it
Just
Jared?
talk. Don't gloat. Come on, hurry up. Hurry up.
I mean, I wasn't gonna bring it up and stuff, but yeah, I finally got monetized.
What are you talking about? You brought it up earlier in the stream.
No, I did. I brought up that I was monetized.
Not in the stream. I don't think.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I did. That's right. I did. Sorry. I mean, I mentioned it for like a second. I was like, it was a pretty up and down day. That Monday, obviously, my grandma passed. If you were on Twitter and stuff, she was 66. She passed away peacefully. And that day, just really, it was also the first day of school as well at UNLV and stuff. And I was just like, ugh, like I really didn't want to go, but I had to. So and then I come home and stuff, and I checked the email, and I was like, wow, like that monetized, and on all days, it was just crazy. The whole YouTube thing is really humbling and stuff, and I try to stay as humble as I can. And just getting monetized and stuff, that's finally, like, YouTube, they stepped up and did the right thing for me and stuff. And so I appreciate that. So yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
In your injury fashion. Now we go to our favorite paint schemes.
For this, should we do top 3 for this? Since it is paint schemes?
Yeah.
I mean, Eric did top 3 on his.
I already did top 3. Can we also do bottom 3 so I can give some new answers?
Oh, I know which one is going to be last.
All right. Well, hurry up because I didn't think we were doing that. Well, don't hurry up, actually, because I didn't think we were doing this. So I need to quickly acquaint myself with the rest of them. So I call going last again.
All right. I'll go first. So number 3. Number 3 is the Kyle Busch paint scheme, which I love. The throwback to, according to Eric, Ernie Ivan. Who had no idea who he had no idea who he was, by the way.
I'd heard his name, but I didn't know who he was. I misread the fine print.
Just wait until we see a David P. Arson paint scheme.
Oh yeah. And,
I just love on.
I know that one. It's David Pearson. I know that one.
I love on Eric's tweet too. I think he tweeted this. I think I saw it. It's like, well, if he's so important, why don't you guys talk about him enough? Like, you brought up a good, like, yeah, you kind of have a point there. So yeah,
I need to re-up on my old school history, but yeah.
He's like so good Steve Park. I mean, if you think about it.
No. Don't you make that comparison. There is no comparison there.
What,
did you just make that comparison? Oh no, we gotta stop. Did you just make that comparison to Ernie Irvin to Steve Park? Did you really just make that?
Yeah, the Irvin's better, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, good. Well, no, you're saying okay. All right, good.
He's got the better paint scheme.
All right, sorry.
Jeez, Ultimate Dragon, come at me.
No, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I've seen this on my video. Like, oh, well, you should put Ernie Irvin on your bus video. He had the same career. No, he didn't. Ernie Irvin was about to win a championship. He has 15 career wins. Not even close. I'm sorry. I went off a little bit there.
Yeah. Come on.
You did,
Come on, buddy.
My bad. So, yeah.
Back on track.
I was about to go on a bit of a rant there. Number 2, Joey Logano and the Steve Park bus scheme. I like that. I like his old scheme right there. And it's definitely a big throwback to Steve Park, who was on the rise, by the way. Before injuries derailed his career, he was easily going to be a top 10 driver. I'm glad they paid homage to him. I remember the first year they did the throwbacks. That was the first. I've been waiting for this scheme since 2015. So I'm definitely happy about that. And number 1, can I get a drum roll, please? All right, Derek Cope and the Bojangles. he finally won something. I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't even know that he used to be sponsored by Bojangles. And I don't know. I just like it. It's something about that scheme I really like. Just the yellow, just Bojangles. I've never had Bojangles, by the way. So,
what are Bojangles?
It's a chicken place or something like that.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like a potato chip.
But yeah, I love. I don't know. I love that scheme. I love the scheme. And I see in the chat I've gotten L's. Oh, for the Steve Park one. Okay, well that's understandable. I always get L's for that from commenters. But yeah, I mean I just like the scheme. I don't know, it's just me. And yeah, I can't really explain anything else. I didn't even know he had ran that scheme before. That's the thing. So I've never seen this before, and I like it.
I like the Derek Cope comments in the chat. Those are some funny ones in there. People losing their mind. It's like the new Get Hard from Menard is now taking over with Derek Cope here. But yeah. So those are your top 3. I'll go next then. So my top 3, I made a video about it yesterday. So if you watch that, you already know. So I'll go pretty quick. Number 3, Kurt Busch's throwback to his photo finish car that he ran in 2003 when he almost won the Southern 500. I made that reference earlier. I just like that. I like the redemption story. It's part of why he's my pick, because I really want him to win. That'd just be fun. But the car looks great too. I like old school Roush is like what I grew up with, being a Kenseth and Biffle and Edwards fan and stuff. So seeing old school Roush cars makes me happy. Second, I'll go with who was my second pick? Denny Hamlin. Hamlin, just because I always love all the FedEx schemes pretty much. This one's like more simple than his modern one, so I like the way it looks. And it's also cool that they're throwing back to it's like his first ever stock car or something like that. I don't remember the exact thing. It's the first car he won in.
It was his first stock car, I believe.
Something like that. But if you look on the side of it, like, it not only does it say FedEx and everything, but also on the side it says like Chesterfield, like auto repair or something like that. Like he even has like the old sponsor that I assume was on the old car, because isn't he from like Chesterfield, Virginia? So I'm gonna assume that's what that's to. So they went above and beyond with that one. And the number 1 is the Kyle Busch 18. Obviously, I know I don't get the full backstory to it with Ernie Irvin, but as far as the car itself looks, it just looks amazing. I said this in my video. They should run that Skittles scheme today because it looks amazing. I just like it a lot. So
yeah, there are certain throwback schemes that should still be ran in the Cup Series today, honestly. Yeah, and Skittles one for sure.
And I want to throw an honorable mention. Carnation just reminded me in the chat. They announced today for Ryan Reed in the Xfinity Series, he's running a Greg Biffle. I have that car right here, Greg Biffle patriotic throwback.
Yeah, they are.
I love that car.
And also it was announced yesterday, Ryan Truex, he's running the throwback to the old Wrangler 8.
Oh,
that Truex won in the Busch Series in with.
Okay, really quick, if y'all didn't see, on Twitter, I retweeted it. It probably has over 5,000 likes or retweets at this point. Ryan Truex, or what? That's his name, right?
Yes.
Okay, he's the other Truex, so I don't remember. But Ryan Truex said if he gets 5,000 retweets, he will do the whole like small chin beard and long sideburns that Martin Truex Jr. had in 2004. Come on, I need someone else to join me for the early 2000s.
I didn't know. I didn't know that.
Let me see. Let me look at it. Yeah, I put it on here. Okay. He goes, here's the deal. Everyone making someone run the infamous Martin Truex Jr. chin beard sideburns combo this weekend. I said I would do it for no less than 5,000 retweets. I now leave this decision up to the fans. And he put this, this other one, you can't see it as well, but he put this picture of Truex when he had the little thing like that. And then there are 7,210 retweets. Yes.
Nice.
Careful what you wish for.
Well, I find it funny as you look back at 2007. I was looking at a thing from like a DEI deal. You got Junior with this, so I'm throwing back to like 07 to 03 Junior. Then you got Truex with a little bit more, like just down here, and then you got the soul patch from Fulminard. It's like wow.
Yeah.
It just, I find it funny. No one could grow a full beard at DEI in 2007.
I couldn't.
All right. Who's next?
Rusty, are you next?
I'll jump on it. I'm not going to sell this as much as you guys, so I'll keep it short. Number 3 is Kyle Busch. I think that thing, you guys have said it, it's so sexy. It's going to look right under the lights. Number 2, I'm always a fan of this. I got it on my phone, the Brad Keselowski number 2. I wish they had a little bit thicker stroke around the 2 because it's too much muddy brown gold. I want to see what it actually looks like in real life. But I think it's got potential, especially with that red. Maybe that's a little bit of neon. I don't know. And number 1, Jimmie Johnson's 48. No, I'm just kidding. No,
It's got me there.
Number 1, I got to see this one under the lights because I think it's got potential. Neon between the yellow and the green. That number 17 Ricky Stenhouse is by far my favorite. That thing looks that's a nice looking car. If it's neon, I'm all in. I might buy that diecast.
Hey Darian, who's sponsoring that 17 car?
That meme will never die. The correct term is John Deere, but the term I used to use is John Deere. That's
All right,
never going to get old.
Just check it. I can't. I'm gonna so wish I didn't say all this stuff when my meme finally comes up. So I think
your meme is gonna once your meme comes up,
fun.
I'm going to destroy you with the meme. You're going to be destroyed. Okay.
Challenge accepted. All right, it better be a good one. All right, my top 3. I'm gonna cheat. So I have a tie for 3rd, and I think. Okay. 22 is one of my ties for 3rd. I love that paint scheme. I wish that they could have like more simple schemes like that nowadays. I'm more leaning towards though the 32 car because isn't it like that old Exide car Jeff Burton ran?
Yeah.
And I love having lightning on cars. I've had it on my cars every time I run a NASCAR Thunder series, and it always looks good under the lights. I think this scheme will look really good under the lights, so that's my number 3 pick. My number 2 pick. I'm a sucker for those old 40s to 60s look Clint Boyer. I don't know why, just that simple one color, having like the team owner on the hood, it just makes me think throwback, and I love the look of those cars. That's never going to change. So that's my number 2. And then number 1, I swear people are going to think I'm a fan of him after this week, but I'm not. Kyle Busch and his Ernie Irvan throwback scheme. It looks good. It looks really good. I know that after this week of me defending him, then now people are going to think I root for him. I don't. But yeah, I don't think there's really too much of an argument against it. Now, some honorable mentions: 41 car for sure. Watch you finish 2nd in that car again. That'd be funny. That one was really good. What was the other one? God, trying to think. I can't remember. The 2 car. That one's a good one. That's an honorable mention.
I'm surprised nobody mentioned Blaney's in their top 3.
It's good, but it's not top 3 worthy.
We should mention Ty Dillon's looks good this week. I like his a lot.
Oh, the old Max Pappas.
Yeah.
I actually met Max Pappas in 2009. Dude,
really?
Dude walks so fast. Granted, I was 12. He's like, but it was funny because I was just persistent. It's like, I'm like, can I have your autograph? Just wait till I come back because he has some accent or whatever. And I just sort of kept walking with him until he finally stopped and signed it. And then it's like, I'm like, thank you. Ran away. I was 12. Who cares? So
right.
We did a top 3. Let's do our bottom
3
feeders.
All right. Wait, Eric went first last time, so
yeah.
Oh, did I? Okay, well, yeah, okay, let me think. I know I have two of them off the top of my head. Okay, I'll make this my third. My number 3 is going to be. It's a toss up between Bubba's car, just because I'm tired of just the boring blue. But I'm not going to go there. I'm going to go with Jamie McMurray's, even though I want to see I want to see how it actually looks under the lights, because I think it'll look good. And honestly, this isn't really fair. I probably should make it Bubba's at my number 3, because I do like the fact that McMurray's car just says 50 years of Big Mac on the front. That's just hilarious to me. Just like, I don't know. So actually, I'm gonna go. I'll make an addendum here. I think Bubba Wallace is my number 3 STP car. I mean, I like it when they do something cool and new with it, like with the normal schemes. But when they throw back to, I think this is the first time the first car STP ever sponsored. It's just boring. You know, I've seen it. You know, I wish I could see something different. But anyway, number 2, I'll go with Chris Buescher's number 37 Busch's Beans car. It's a throwback, not to a specific car. It's a throwback to just like the old logo, and the old logo looks old. It's just plain creamy white with like horrible black lettering. It's just boring. It's like, and it's not nostalgic to me, because who the heck was eating Busch's baked beans in the 1940s that's still watching it?
Apparently a lot of people.
I don't understand it. So I don't like Chris Buescher's at all. My number 1, and it's not even the ugliest paint scheme, but it's just offensive that this was the choice they made. My number 1 worst paint scheme, or most disappointing paint scheme, I guess I should say, of the weekend is Jimmie Johnson's 48 car. We've seen this car literally on track like 4.5 years ago. So it's like, it's not a throwback. You know, I said this on my video. They should have thrown it back to one of his old championship paint schemes if they were going to do that. I hope they do that for Homestead, because they let me down for this one. But it's not a bad looking car.
It's not a throwback. It's
not really. Yeah, it's kind of off theme, you know. But anyway, so that's my bottom 3.
Now, yeah, bottom 3. You weren't afraid to say Bubba. Number 3 is Bubba Wallace, because I mean, just look at this. Look who's on the bottom. You could have done an Adam Petty throwback scheme for your first year at Richard Petty Motorsports. You could have done that, but instead you did the same old, we're just gonna, make it plain blue and stuff. Like, yeah, it's a throwback, but come on, you gotta think out of the box sometimes.
We need that kamikaze loop video of him just saying it's the same old thing.
Yeah, it's the same old thing every single year.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need Man, we should have kamikaze on this week as a fifth panelist.
I mean,
but yeah.
I mean, Eric he didn't want to put it on there, like on his bottom 3 list. He did mention it though, but I did as well. Number 2, the Busch's baked. I was like, like I'd never seen it before until Eric's video. I was like, what the hell were these guys thinking? Like, all right, like I understand you guys can't win every single week. You can't run well at certain places, but you could have at least won that. You could have at least been top 10 on the paint schemes list, and you guys can't even do that right. So sorry. It's not a throwback to any particular driver. It's just to the brand. Just the numbers are ugly. The car's ugly. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if Chris Buescher is dreading this race. Not only because he's gonna run basically where he's been running all year, but also you have to race this ugly car. It's bad.
You might just wreck it out early out of mercy.
Yeah, you might just put it out of his misery. Basically, you might just do that. I wouldn't be surprised if on lap 1 he's just like just straight into the wall. It's like, okay, I'm done. I'm not gonna race this thing. And then number 1, obviously Jimmie Johnson. Let me just point out the ones he could have done. Mike Skinner's old scheme from like 1999 or from like 90. I believe his rookie season was 97. Yeah, 97 to 2000 scheme that he ran. You could have done Jimmie Johnson's rookie season, his scheme from his rookie season. You could have done the 2002 to 2005 one, 2006 to 2000, and I mean, you could have done the 2006 one. That comes to mind. You could have even done his scheme from like 2010. You could have even done that as well, maybe, if you wanted to go that route. I mean, I personally would have preferred the low scheme from Mike Skinner's. That would have been amazing. But instead, you pick a scheme. I can understand why they picked it, though. It was the wrong choice, but I can understand why, because he won there, and it was Rick Hendrick's 200th career win in the Cups as a Cup Series owner. I can understand that. But he ran the scheme, last time I checked, 2014, he ran the scheme during the playoffs. And it was at Dover. That's not a throwback to something you just ran a few years ago and stuff. And then maybe you can make the argument, well, look at Ty Dillon's scheme. Like, it's basically one from like 2010, 2011. Like I don't see you getting after that. Which I guess there is a case made and stuff, but at the same time, that's when the team started. They wanted to pay homage to Casey Mears and Max Pappas for starting that team, so it's understandable there. But this scheme, you had so many. Like Germain Racing didn't have as many options and stuff, so they just went with that. But you had this one. You had this one chance for you to go out with a bang, and you blew it. So,
Yep. About sums it up.
Is that all three?
Yep.
All righty. So, Rusty, what do you got?
I'm not a big fan of a lot of them. I don't like the 10, the 20, the 34. I think we can all agree on this. The disappointment backing off the 48 is the 24. We've seen the 24 too recently. Jeff Gordon has a million iconic paint schemes, whether it's like that chameleon, color shifting paint. I mean, we could have tried that. We could have done anything, a Pepsi scheme, just put different sponsors on it. I just would have liked to see something else out of that 24 car. I love seeing the neon under the lights, but I want to see a little bit more inspiration, as you guys kind of touched on.
So that leaves me. My three bottom feeders. Okay, dishonorable mention goes to AJ Allmendinger's car.
To Stacey Compton.
Yeah, so that's my dishonorable mention.
That's the throwback to Stacey Compton. Wow.
So my third worst, Jamie McMurray's. I mean, it looks like the morning. What happens after the morning after you eat too much Mexican food,
Or too many Big Macs.
Yeah, just it's bad. It's bad. Like, I don't know who greenlit that. What, you couldn't throw back? I mean, you to anything. There's been so many one cars throughout NASCAR history. You couldn't throw back to anything other than that. My number two, and I'm going to keep getting hate since I picked Hamlin by this guy's fans. Chase Elliott's car. I mean, that car, it looks lazy, in my opinion. It does. It looks lazy. You
do know what the throwback is too, right?
What's it to?
His you don't know. Oh man. His
You feel like an asshole.
It's a throwback to his dead cousin, Casey Elliott, who died of cancer at the age of 21.
Well, damn.
Yeah.
It's almost put his on there.
Still doesn't mean it looks good.
No, you're right.
It doesn't look like crap. So still looks like crap. Doesn't matter the context. And the worst one, we've all said it, Jimmie Johnson. It looks bad. It's like I didn't even like the scheme when he raced it. You know, they changed the colors with it. It looks bad. There's no other way to go around it. You guys sort of covered all of it. He could have done his rookie scheme. Could have done a Mike Skinner scheme. Of course, who the hell really wants to throw back to Mike Skinner?
Yeah. I mean, that paint scheme was pretty dope. It was pretty dope.
Yeah, I bet it ran 20th every week.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
Robbie
up front.
Gordon,
It was up front.
it.
It was up front when it was on the bottom line on the lap down. No, but he got to throw him back to his rookie scheme or anything through 2005. Oh, and by the way, yeah, I really don't feel bad. And then he could have thrown back to the first championship. But I don't get the decision. What's he gonna throw back to when he's eliminated after the first round this year? I don't know.
What are you talking about? He's gonna make it.
Jimmie Johnson.
He's gonna make it to the championship for because of the straight face.
You've been drinking with Brian France or something?
I know. I couldn't say with a straight face. Come on.
Put down the oxy.
I mean, I already said Newman was gonna win this week, so
Yeah,
I'm already sounding crazy at that point. Yeah.
I say we should do two other categories: most underrated one and most overrated one. So, what's the most underrated one that no one's given enough attention to? I can start off, because I was the one that brought this up. My underrated one got to be the 96 car. I liked that scheme. It was the first, I think it was the one from Dale Earnhardt's first start.
No.
Wasn't it?
No. His first start was in that 8
sure?
Dodge from 75. Yeah. Now it says it was his first start in that one ESPN movie, the 3 movie. But
jeez.
Yeah.
You're
But,
not using that as an actual reference, are you?
but it's not. It wasn't his first.
The Onion.
But it wasn't his first career start. In that he did make a few races in that, but it wasn't his first career start though.
You sure?
I'm sure. I'll look it up right now. It was in some 8. Like, it was at Charlotte in some 8 Dodge.
It might have been.
It was.
If you're I'm just saying, if you're using that movie as like you're using that as a reference.
There's a video idea for you, man. Just review the movie and just say what they got wrong.
I had to suffer through that enough the first time.
I know. I remember watching that. I was little. I was like, even to myself, even my little self was like, "What? This is wrong." I'm like, I that was my first year watching, but like the whole movie, it was just wrong. It was wrong about most of like everything.
Sylvie Gang. Sylvie Gang. That's the one I'm referencing. So 76, 75, 76. Yeah.
All right. So his first start was in 1975 at the age of 24.
I looked it up.
Yeah.
Okay. They all blend together when you're running. They all blend together when you're only running a partial schedule. I'd say most overrated one is definitely Ricky Stenhouse's. I don't think it looks that good. I really don't.
I mean, I don't like the color green like at all, but I like it.
Green's bad luck at a racetrack.
What's with all these throwbacks to all these busts, guys? I don't get it.
Well, and the John Deere car didn't look good in the first place. Why are we throwing back to it?
I know. Yeah, I mean, first you got Steve Park, and then you got Chad Little throwbacks. Like, come on, guys. I do like the Steve Park one though. Steve Park one's a throwback to his to the first half of his career, not the second half. It's a throwback to the first one, basically.
Yeah, and look how the first half of the year went, Jacob. I'm sure his leg didn't appreciate that luck.
All right, so I guess I'm up next. Overrated. It's not that overrated, to me, but I feel like it is overrated to me, but like people are just hyping the scheme up too much. Ryan Blaney's.
Yeah.
Ryan Blaney's like it's there for nostalgia purposes, all right? But when you look at the scheme, it's not really his dad's scheme. They made a few modifications to it because his dad's original scheme in that Jasper car was just a straight up yellow. Like they didn't have those little things on the side of his car and stuff. Like he didn't have that. So I saw it. I was like, yeah, it's a nice scheme, but come on, you got to be like, where's the consistency here? You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just think it's a bit overrated in my opinion compared to all the other ones. Now underrated. No one's talking about Derek Cope's scheme. Come on, guys.
I think
it's number one to me.
The introduction video was enough to turn everyone off of it.
Just the introduction video, like, okay, that one just like completely turned people off and stuff like that. But like, come on, like I don't know, I like it. I like it to me. It's pretty cool to me.
I didn't even realize that.
And again, I didn't even know he drove that car before. I was like, I think it was in the Cup Series in like '93 or something like that. So, but yeah. Blaney's it's not totally accurate.
I guess I can go next. Are we doing both at the same time? So I can say.
Yeah.
Okay, so underrated. I'm going to say Eric Jones is slightly underrated. I think I don't love it, but I kind of like it. Is he like an old school like 1950s baseball look to it? I mean, I kind of like it. I like the blue and the red. But we'll see. I'll see how it looks on track. But I feel like that's one that like nobody's talked about hardly at all. So I think it's a little bit underrated. Overrated, I don't know. You guys might. The easy answer is William Byron, but I don't think very many people are rating it super highly. They're just like, oh, it's pretty, which it is. It's a really pretty car. I've seen it before. So I'm gonna say, I honestly think the Joey Logano one, the Steve Park throwback's a little overrated. I just because the car doesn't. It's iconic. I remember seeing that car for years. It's cool that it's very accurate to the paint scheme, but I don't love the paint scheme. And I mean, you made a Steve Park bust video. It's interesting how a lot of the schemes this year are kind of throwing it back to busts. But I will say my dishonorable mention was Kyle Larson's car because I think it's a Davey Allison.
Yeah, it's a Davey Allison one, and it's not even like the same colors.
Yeah, the colors aren't even close to the same. But I feel like that one nobody's really talking about that one. So
you could have done a Kenny Irwin Jr. throwback.
The chat does not like me. going against the Steve Park throwback. I apologize.
Fine, man. Who cares?
It's the truth. It's the truth.
It's okay, but it's not great. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, if we've proven anything, I really don't care about angering the chat.
Yeah.
Whoa.
But I care. I want to be friends with the chat.
You can't be friends with everyone, buddy.
Oh, wow.
Darian Logic 101.
You can't be friends with everyone, so why even try?
In the chat, Kip from Georgia brings up a good point. We should probably talk that for the first time in Throwback Races history, we're not having Ken Squire in the booth this year.
I saw that today.
Who are we having? I didn't see that.
There's two different booths. One I think is like all drivers, and that, or like I know there's the Jeff Burton, Dale Jr., and I want to say Dale Jarrett's in it, and then the other one is Rick Allen, Steve Letarte, and one other or something. I might be wrong, but they're having two booths this year.
Hold on, really, hold on. So you could have gotten. Well, I was about to say Alan Bestwick, but like he's under contract with ESPN. That's not gonna happen. You could have had Bob Jenkins in the booth. Like why? Like,
what if they secretly got one of those guys coming out for just like a 15-minute block, like they did?
That's awesome.
Years?
Like you could have had Bob Jenkins. Like I haven't, like, nobody's really seen Bob Jenkins in the sport since his last race he covered in 2000. Like, you got to bring him back sometime. I mean, just his voice was so iconic and stuff. And obviously everyone's going to say, well, yeah, Ken Squire and stuff. But yeah, Ken Squire's done it for like 3 years now. Like, it's time for a change. And now we're going to have two different booths. Like, I don't know. Like Bob Jenkins, like, and no, not the Bob Jenkins that owns front row racing. That's a different one.
Here we go. So, for the first time in the 4 years of the NASCAR Throwback Race, Ken Squire won't be a part of the booth this weekend. NBC is instead planning for two booths, one being with Dale Jr., Steve Letarte, and Jeff Burton, and the other being with Kyle Petty, Dale Jarrett, and Rick Allen.
Kyle freaking Petty. Oh, God.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Oh, man, that one booth. I like Rick Allen. Memes aside, I like Rick Allen. No, actually, you know what? I think Kyle Petty and Dale Jarrett are fine as play-by-play people.
Where's
they're
Kyle
fine as
Petty?
play-by-play.
Do you see Kyle Petty on the shirt?
Yeah, and I'm cringing so hard at his little face right there. But no, I really despise Kyle Petty and Dale Jarrett as like post-race. Whenever they try to talk about things that happened during the race, they try to like. I don't agree with them on almost anything they say. When they say if they probably thought. I don't know what they actually thought, but like I'm over here thinking like Gregson didn't really do anything wrong in the truck race. Just to spite me, they probably would have said Gregson was an idiot. Like that's probably I don't know what they actually said about it, but like I feel like I disagree with them on everything like that. But
let's also remember Kyle Petty though was the one who was mercifully ahead of the curve on Danica than almost everybody.
And even that, like I don't even like that. Like you can hate on Danica, but he just made it too far. So I'm like, God dang it!
He basically said like. She's not a race car driver.
Yeah.
She's not a race car driver.
I mean, we saw the results.
She's not a stock car driver. She's a good race car driver, not a stock car driver. He just
said, oh, she's just not a race car driver.
Yeah, that was like, come on, Kyle.
I think Richard Petty said the same thing too.
Yeah, plenty of people said it, but Kyle Petty was the most obnoxious. Sorry, I don't like Kyle Petty
on the regular.
Kyle Petty, if you're watching, please come on the podcast.
Well, he waved at me at Chicagoland this year, so we're practically best friends. Him and Dale Jarrett both did, so we're practically best friends. Eric, I can't believe you said that about my best friends.
Like we said earlier, I can't be friends with everyone, so why even try?
Exactly.
Exactly.
What do you think, Rusty?
Are we talking paint schemes or what?
No, we're talking booths.
Oh, booths! I see all the memes. I didn't know if we were switching up topics. I was kind of glazing over at the chat. I could care less. I'm just watching. As long as the camera is pointing at the right thing and they're not cutting a commercial when the leaders are battling, that's all I care about. Is that they're showing the good stuff that we need to see and they're telling the stories that we need to know about. That's all I care about. I don't care who's talking. I mean, it's cool when Dale Jr. is getting hyped. I love that. But I just want to see a good coverage.
And now I'm looking at the chat. They're saying someone said Kyle Petty's a bust. Nothing could be further from the truth. I mean, 8 career wins, a bust.
He also competed for a championship in 1992.
Oh, and 93. Finished 5th 2 years in a row.
But I mean, he was in it in the last race at Atlanta.
Yeah, he was mathematically in it. He was in it, then he wasn't in it. kind of.
I love when someone asked, well, what about Bill Weber? And it's like, yeah.
Yeah, about that. I don't
Let's
know.
get Ralph Shaheen instead.
Yeah.
Ralph Shaheen actually, somebody put on this week. It's like, why is Ralph Shaheen not in the Xfinity Series booth or the Truck Series booth? Because it's like they showed him like commenting on this motorcycle race, and I was like getting excited for a sport that I'm not even interested in. Just like how excited he gets about it. It's like, why not? He's got to be better than Vince Welch.
Oh yeah. Well, Vince Welch, he wasn't as bad this week, but it was still bad.
He still sounds constipated as they go through 4.
Like how do you talk like that? Like Gregson, like I can't even talk like that. Like it's so uncomfortable.
Down the back.
You know, until you guys try announcing a race, you gotta pull it back a little bit. Like you guys saw my video. You guys gotta try it, put yourself out there, and then you can judge them.
I did at the Hall of Fame in 2014, and I was not as bad as Vince Welch.
Okay.
Yeah, like no, I'm saying down. It's like coming down
to the finish, Gregson.
It's tough. It's tough.
Derby. The space stand.
And what would have been cool, because Hamrick, he ran the 8 car this year at Richmond. The second race he's supposed to run it for Richard Childress at the Roval. He could have ran it at the Darlington this weekend, and obviously he can't do a throwback and the number font scheme to Junior because Teresa Earnhardt's gonna start suing and yada yada yada. But he could have done Ralph Earnhardt's throwback.
See, people don't know this. That Teresa Earnhardt actually is a computer that's made just to sue different people.
Wow.
Yeah, basically, it's a robot.
Artificial intelligence.
Yeah, so that's the future, folks, of artificial intelligence, guys. So
Questionable on the intelligence part.
yeah. So dumb intelligence? I don't know. Just dumb I don't know. Just stupid.
I don't know. We'll have to wonder if she says Deary.
That's one thing. Like she basically destroyed a whole race team.
Yeah, good point. You should do an owner's bus video on Teresa.
I'll probably do a NASCAR bus video on just Teresa Earnhardt. Just
NASCAR bus Teresa Earnhardt.
Ever like the.
Yeah, and Alaskan Yankee brings up a good point. To be honest, I want Jimmy Spencer back.
I know.
I didn't appreciate him as much as I should have when he was here.
I know. Now we miss him. We miss him so much. Well, I mean, that would have been another cool throwback scheme of Kurt Busch to Jimmy Spencer. That would have been awesome. That would have been awesome. I know.
If Jimmy Spencer's there, they should do just a throwback picture of him fake punching Kurt Busch.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure both will have fun with that since it's 15 years since.
Yeah, I mean, Kurt Busch, he basically won the battle anyways. I mean, the next week after he got punched, he won Bristol while Jimmy Spencer watched at home. So, say Kurt Busch pretty much won that one. I mean, come on, guys, he did.
And I think he pretty much put the final nail in any coffin to say that he didn't win it at Homestead the next year.
Yeah.
Oh, what else we got in here? Is there anything else that's popped up, or should we just do a quick Q&A thing before we're out?
We'll
do we could do a throwback if we do a Q&A.
Yeah, I know.
To the way we used to at the first few episodes.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing about having an off week. Like the off week, like the week after the off week, there's nothing really to discuss unless there's news and stuff like that too. But,
there has been a lot of news, but
yeah, we went over that already in the first part. Oh well, Spencer Gallagher, he's hurt. Yeah, I don't know what happened and stuff. He's hurt. He hurt his shoulder, doing something. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, so he's out again this week.
Who'd they say is it Chase Elliott driving that car this week?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, I mean Spencer Gallagher. I might just put him in a Bad Seasons video 2018. He can't catch a break in anything. And you know what his average finishes this season? 10.5. He would have been a contender in the playoffs, but he blew it by making a stupid decision, and he can't even stay healthy off the racetrack. So overall, it's just been an up and down year, but mostly down most recently. Ugh.
I'm just trying to look through if there's any extra news, but I don't see too much. Let's see.
Yeah. Not much.
We can. Wait. Did we talk about this? No, we talked about this on the BS stream, I think, or something else.
What is it?
The NASCAR driver who lost a sponsor because of what his dad said 35 years ago.
Oh yeah.
No, we didn't. Did we? We talked about that on the BS stream for a little, for a little bit. It wasn't a BS stream. It was just in the Google Hangouts thing that we were.
Yeah. It was during the fight. Really? You're punishing the son for the sins of the father?
And before he was even born.
Long before he was born. His father, should he have said that? No. Completely in the wrong. His son, should he have been punished for it? No. Completely in the wrong.
And just so you guys know, he did say the N-word, I believe.
Yeah, back
Hold
in.
on.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know the full story, it was a radio show in 1980 or 1970 or something like that.
Yeah, something far back where, me being part black, half black, I mean, obviously what his dad said was disgusting and stuff like that as well, and I don't like it at all. But I don't think did his son say the same thing? And the same thing, or
and why did it suddenly pop back up right before he's about to make one of? Was this his first start, or is his only start?
Was his first start? I think he ran the race last year, but I mean, it's just a one-off race, and I'm like, really?
Why did it come out like that? And some people are trying to say, it's kind of like how Subway ditched Suarez first chance they got. They're just looking for any way to ditch the sponsorship, but it was Lilly Diabetes who's full-time sponsoring.
Just sponsor Ryan Reed.
So it's not
you want to hear something funny? Is that when Connor Daly got the sponsorship opportunity, it was Ryan Reed who was the first one to say this is such a great thing and all this stuff and promote it. So it's so are you going to punish your driver for promoting a driver whose dad said something bad?
At some point.
Ooh, no. Oh no, we need to get rid of Ryan Reed. You know what? We should just get out of the sport entirely. Let's overreact. Come on, everyone's overreacting.
Let's just overreact. I mean, it makes no sense. I mean, his dad. His dad should have gotten all that BS and stuff. But to leave a driver just for saying a racial slur. To leave a driver when his dad said a racial slur long before he was born and stuff it makes no sense. And now, unfortunately, that's gonna stick with him throughout the rest of his career, and he doesn't even deserve it because Connor Daly didn't even do nothing.
Well, and I think we've seen, doesn't matter where you come from, that nowadays we're in this outrage culture that if anything comes out, we got to be, everyone's got to mob up on the person. So it's he did nothing. Connor Daly did nothing wrong. If he had said it, it's I understand. You don't want to be associated with someone saying that.
Yeah, you deserve to use it.
He didn't say this. His father did. 35 years ago, 1984. He said this in the 80s. Think about this. Seriously, the 80s. When was he born? How old is he? He's 25, 26. So probably 10, 11 years before he was born. He is now probably going to be blacklisted from just about every sponsor now, depending on who picks him, if someone picks him up next or not.
So
if somebody does not pick him up by the end of this year, he's blacklisted.
So
for something his dad did.
At the very least, he's forever going to be remembered as the guy involved in this controversy, and that's going to be something he's always got to be reminded of.
So his dad basically, his dad basically ruined his career. Well, not ruined it all the way.
Well, I want to know how it came up.
Yeah, I don't know. It's did someone really dig up an interview from someone? I still don't even know Connor Daly, his dad's name or anything. I didn't even know who he was or anything like that. I never thought about him before. It's someone really dig up an interview from 35 years ago or something
So I'm on the Washington Examiner and it says that, I don't know if they have the correct bit of the story or whatever, but it says what Derek Daly said is terrible and should absolutely be condemned. But must also keep in mind that it was not his son who said it. Connor Daly was not even born when the now infamous interview occurred in 1983. Connor Daly was born in 1991.
Yeah.
Jeez. That's let's see. I
just want to know who was holding this over them. I didn't see anything trending on Twitter. I didn't see any outrage anywhere.
I see what you're saying, Eric. did someone say like, oh, like you can't sponsor this guy or anything like that? Like if there was some backlash, I can understand that. But I saw nothing.
Yeah,
I didn't even know this existed until Lily Diabetes left.
This is pretty much a perfect like showing if you want to compare and contrast different situations. The logic used to penalize Daley is dangerous. This is like saying Al Gore shouldn't have been vice president because his father was against civil rights in the 60s. Seriously, that's the same thing. So it's like, what? Like, is this what sponsors are gonna like? Granted, Lily Diabetes is one, so one case. I don't think we should be too scared. But if something like this happens again or a few more times, like, is this what drivers have to worry about with their sponsors now? Like, oh no, my dad said something bad in the 70s. Hope I don't get penalized for it.
Something bad, stupid, ignorant, all that stuff. Yeah, but I mean, it's one thing if Connor Daly said it. It's like, oh well, you basically just asked for it. But then, like his dad said this a long time ago, before he was born. I don't know. It just makes no sense. And the funny thing is, it wasn't trending. Nobody was talking about it. I never heard about it until I found out that Lily Diabetes was pulling off. So I mean, let's talk about them for a second. Just stupid. That's just a dumb business move in my opinion and stuff, man. It's like nobody knew anything about it. Maybe only like a few people did. And then you pull out the sponsorship and now everyone knows about it basically because of you guys.
Well, here's what I think they should have done. Like if they just found out about it, right? Be like, listen, we don't want this associated with our brand. If they're talking to Connor, can you please not have your father at the races associated with our brand? Like keep it under the radar. Right. I'm pretty sure he'd just be like, listen, Dad, they don't want you, in the pits or whatever. Just watch in the stands. I don't know. It's pretty cheap to get into an Xfinity race or a truck race or many areas of a cup race. So it's just nothing but bad publicity for everyone involved now.
And also just think about this as well. Ryan Reed is sponsored by them. He's been sponsored by them since 2014, 2015. Now I've seen some where people are starting to hate on him because he's being sponsored by Lily Diabetes. Not because like of anything he did. They're starting to hate on Reed a little bit here as well. So it's affecting his career in a big way.
I think some people are hating on Reed because in the Xfinity race he wrecked out like on lap 5 or something like that, and everyone was kind of like, well, that's karma. The Lily Diabetes car is wrecked out. I know I was guilty of that. I don't have any ill will towards Ryan Reed, but for this one race, it's kind of funny. Made me laugh. Give me a little little chuckle.
It's like ironic, isn't it?
I mean, it just makes no sense because you pull out of this guy, but like of this sponsoring this guy, but you'll still sponsor Ryan Reed to clown around the Xfinity Series circuit, week in and week out. I actually had a guy telling me, I actually had this argument once where someone said, oh, well, I don't know why Bubba's in the Cup Series. Reed was way better. Oh, man. And that was on your video, Eric, too. So I found that funny.
Oh, wait, was it a comment you saw?
No, well, no, it was after one of your podcasts. I think it was after the podcast we had announced that Bobby Allison was on there, and someone was like, well, Darian's obviously really biased. I mean, if Bubba deserves to be in the Cup Series, then Ryan Reed does too, even though their average finishes are it makes no sense. Well, and then someone was like, well, Reed won 2 races, at Daytona, and in that one season he did win. He only had 1 top 10 from that win. So
no.
Jared Edwards kind of made a little funny joke about it. My dad got a speeding ticket in the 80s. Now I can never get a NASCAR sponsorship. That's pretty good.
Oh, man.
Well, I think we should be wrapping it up at this point unless there's any other news I can check through and see if
I did see a comment by Runnings Racing. He said that there was an article out. I'll try and find it afterwards. That Ben Kennedy was rumored to be.
They asked him, and he said it's possible, kind of thing. I think people are taking a little more of it than they should.
What did they ask?
They asked if he would be interested in being NASCAR's CEO one day, and he said, "Yeah, it's possible. I'm interested." It's like, well, okay, but he's like 26 right now.
Well, why not? Why not have him run the company? Someone new, someone.
I think he needs to get maybe more experience in the field he'll be working in. I mean, we saw what having no experience in doing, what you're doing did the last 15 years.
I mean, hasn't he already proven it in the Truck Series though? mean, look at the truck series.
Just because you're a race car driver doesn't mean you know how to run a racing series.
No,
It
I'm
means you know
talking
how to
about
run in one.
No. I'm talking about like he has ran it for I would say a year or something like that. I mean, the series is all right. I mean, it's doing pretty well.
I mean, other than the fact that it's rumored to be going under.
Yeah, I don't know. The trucks.
He's trying his best. He's trying his best.
It's not.
I mean, I try my best to run a 4-minute mile. It means I'm never gonna though.
Kennedy isn't the problem, but he hasn't saved it yet.
Yeah, there's not. If he saves the truck series, then I'm like, okay, I'm on board, right?
Yeah.
If the truck series is where it was at 10 years ago, like I was watching the finish to the 2005 Atlanta truck race, and the stands were half full.
A lot.
Like if it gets back to that, then I'm like, all right, get this man in office right now. I think his first decree will be keeping Brian France at least 80 miles from a racetrack.
Yeah.
Like
just move him out to Wyoming.
Yeah. He'll be placed under house arrest in Wyoming.
Just keep him away from the sport. Don't even just keep him away. Just don't ever have him.
Make him move to Canada. How about that? Oh,
I remember
track there. Make him move to
northern
Alaska.
Montana.
I remember in one of my classes on my first day, someone said like I was talking about how I watch NASCAR and stuff, and then someone was like, "Oh yeah, that dude was like drunk driving or something like that, right?" I'm like, "Yes." Like, and then he asked, "Wasn't he the CEO or something like that, or the president?" And I was like, "Yeah, nobody likes him."
Oh, Carnation brought up a good point. Over the week, there's been rumors about NASCAR going back to Nashville if the support isn't.
Yes, to fairgrounds, and that means
won't.
Junior will race in it.
That's right. He said he would.
I mean, that'd be awesome. I mean, that'd be cool. I mean, we're finally getting more short tracks. I mean, I know it's just one, but bring at least one short track back to the circuit. That'd be nice. You know?
I'd be fine with it. I think the truck series should be majority short tracks and road courses.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, the way
that series was built on beating and banging. Granted, they used to have. I didn't realize this till I was watching an old race from 2004. The truck series used to have a like a halftime break in it or something. I didn't know that. Like,
really?
Yeah, they were talking about it in the same thing that it was the video I put on Twitter about how back in the day NASCAR media actually would speak their opinion, and they didn't just leave it to YouTubers to speak opinions.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was that same pre-race show, dude. I'm telling you, like NASCAR coverage.
It was pretty good. Now
it was and it was
not like the stuff you have today.
Yeah, it was so unique to each one because each one was different. Granted, Fox spoke their minds a little more than NBC, but yeah, I mean, why not get it at least back to those roots of beating and banging? I think that there should be sort of a growth of like track sizes and types of tracks the higher you go.
And also, I'm sorry.
No,
sorry.
Go ahead. It's cool.
And also, I mean, the way the trucks were set up at first, and even in the Busch series, all the way up until 2000, it was majority short tracks. It was a lot of short tracks. The Busch series would go to like South Boston, Myrtle Beach, which is also I like that as well. I mean, they would go to tracks like that, and the trucks would do the same thing. But then once NASCAR had this new TV contract, they added these new speedways, and they started leaving short tracks a little bit more. This was during its heyday because this was 2001. You just had a new TV deal and stuff, so you're open to you're also opening up more short tracks in bigger markets. And then they just started to leave. So, and also Indianapolis Raceway Park, they also need to bring back the schedule.
Funny comment from Kid from Georgia reminded me of an old Family Guy episode. It's like that Family Guy scene repeating
I remember that. Yeah,
for NASCAR. It's like you're watching NASCAR, on TNT. Aw. I was like, funny. Yeah, Seth MacFarlane gets it.
That video is still on. I think it's still on YouTube, by the way. I think that one is. I know exactly.
Yeah, you can find it on there. You're watching NASCAR. All right, on TNT.
Aww.
That's good.
All right, so I think now we should actually probably wrap it up here. So,
yeah, I'm getting pretty hungry. I'm probably gonna make it a burger. I'm starving.
Yeah. So, Rusty, you want to start off on your little outro?
Yeah. As always, guys, thank you for having me on. It's literally a privilege, you guys. I've loved watching the podcast every week to see all these different YouTubers, just people on here from all these different backgrounds. I think it's really cool to see. It's literally something new every week, and you have at least 2 or 3 guests, and you guys are doing awesome work. I love being in the chat, and I love being on the show. It's fun. So congrats on all your success. I can't wait to see what's coming. I don't know who else is going to be on the show with future drivers, future.
Oh, we got a few things up our sleeves. I'm not gonna say it.
I don't want to reveal anything or get speculate. But
I got a few things up my sleeve and all the way down the shirt. Yeah.
It would still be wild if you got Blaney one day, man, or just any driver is the coolest thing in the world. If you get Dylan Smith back on, awesome. But yeah, just to plug my channel, I talk NASCAR kind of like what we do on the podcast. I'm currently in the middle of a series I'm calling 30 for 30 rants in 30 days, where I'm in my car with my phone like a weird guy just talking NASCAR. So I'm finding a story. So we get the stories every day. I'm just trying to put a different spin and perspective on these stories, these rumors. And I'm trying to do that every day, just kind of as a creative challenge for myself to just think outside the box, kind of what Eric does on Out of the Groove. Think of these battles for the cutoff point in the sand, just bigger picture stuff with NASCAR. I'm trying to get creative and push myself more that way instead of just being critical of something. So that's kind of what I'm in the middle of. Yesterday, for complete fun and just to embarrass myself, I pretended to do a race called the 2007 Daytona 500. So if you guys want to see or listen to some pure cringe, go check out this video on my channel where I call the finish to the 500. My memory, as I've said this 100 times, my memory of the old seasons is so far gone. So I'm literally going in there blind and calling this race. I don't remember who's in half the cars. So I might continue that as a fun series just to put myself out there and have fun with you guys. So that's what's going on over on my channel. But thanks again, guys, for having me.
And please show us your subscriber count, please. Please show us your subscriber
Never.
count.
We're on the road to 1 million. How about that?
Oh man.
So it's actually under 1 million. The rumors are true.
Yeah. All right. I guess I'll go next. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching tonight's live stream. Go like and well, first off, lick the like button before we head off here. Also, go subscribe to everyone's channels, including mine. We are on the road to 5K. I think we can reach it by this Sunday or by Labor Day, maybe. So
do it.
Yeah, so we can do it. So yeah, hopefully that goes well. And also, still really happy for the whole monetization thing there. I know I brought it up again, but so this is really stoked by that. And yeah, also expect a new upload next week. I don't know. I'm still deciding. You know, a lot of people, they keep asking me to do more bus series videos. So because you guys asked that, I'll probably do a Gone Too Soon video, just knowing me. And I don't know. But yeah, so expect either one of those videos next week. And yeah, go subscribe. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Black Flags Matter. Catch you next time.
Thanks again, everyone, for watching. Yeah, I thought this was a really outstanding show. Thanks to Rusty for being on. We miss you, Danny. We hope to see you back very soon. Hopefully you're doing well wherever you are. But yeah, go subscribe to all these guys. They are doing incredible work. Rusty, I've really enjoyed your I need to catch up on the last couple, but I enjoy your rants. Those have been really good. But yeah, go subscribe to all these guys. They make great stuff. And then subscribe to me. I uploaded a video yesterday. Talking and reacting to a bunch of the paint schemes, many of which I had not seen for this throwback weekend. So you can experience them all with me for the first time. And then tomorrow I have another episode coming out that I'm excited for that I still have to finish editing. It's basically a part 2 to all the rumors. We hit on some of them here tonight. And tomorrow you can see an even more in-depth look at, or hear my opinions even more in depth on those. But yep, other than that, thanks for watching, everyone. We'll be back next week. And I'm already looking forward to it. So thanks for watching, everyone.
Yep, and thank you again, everyone, for being on. Everyone's links to their channel is down below, so if you're not subscribed to them, you should be. And also subscribe to me while you're down there. So next week, we'll be on Eric's channel. We're going to have N2SE4, we're going to have IDK, and then we're going to have Caleb, friend of ours, who's helping out with the Pro Series. It'll be our 30th episode. It's already 30 episodes in. And we'll be able to talk about the throwback race, NASCAR Heat 3 coming out the next day or two. I don't know. They always get muddy on that. So that should be a really loaded, really fun show. Unfortunately, Danny won't be on until the week after, more than likely. Hopefully he can make it on, but hold your breath. Anyway, click that like button, and thank you guys all again for watching. We'll see you next week.